Welcome back to the Lights Out podcast, bedtime stories for boys and girls around the world. Good evening, boys and girls. Are you ready for bed? Are you all snuggled up and ready for another Lights Out bedtime story? Well, you're in for a treat tonight, because tonight is part of a series that is going out every Wednesday about the fantastically great women who changed the world, by Kate Pankhurst. And every Wednesday, I want to tell you a story about a great and wonderful woman who changed the world. And this is part of the Lights Out Bedtime Stories 365 project, and that's to get a book every night of this year. And so by the end of 2021, we'll have another 365 books to add to the 300 already on the last year or two. You're not gonna hear more stories anywhere else, so make sure you click like, love, thumbs up, subscribe, whatever you have to do, because there's more stories coming to you every night. So, can you guess who I'm going to tell you about? Who is the first fantastically great woman who changed the world? Let me tell you the story first, and see if you can guess who it is. Who wrote all these wonderful books? Shh! When her first book was published, this British writer couldn't tell anyone she was the author. In 1811, people thought it wasn't right for a woman to have a job, no matter how talented they were. The books that she wrote were so heartbreaking, romantic and thrilling that they are still enjoyed 200 years later. They are some of the best stories ever created. So let's meet some of her heroines and heroes and villains. First, let's meet Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth Bennet was a witty heroine who speaks her mind, even though a proper lady was not supposed to have an opinion. And Mr. Darcy was a dashingly handsome and wealthy man who changes his smooty ways to win Elizabeth Bennet's heart. Then we have Emma Woodhouse, who decides to help her friends and family find the right husband, but discovers she has a lot to learn about life and love. We have Mrs. Norris Mansfield Park, a beastly woman in a bonnet who is really horrible to her niece, Fanny Prince, who comes from a poor family. We have Catherine Morland from Northanger Abbey, who struggles to learn that real life doesn't work out like the dramatic novels that she loves to read. And Sir Walter Elliot in Persuasion, a vain and nasty upper-class man who thinks being beautiful is more important than being a nice person. In Secret Letters to a Sister, this author wrote of having her own heart broken, just like the heroines she wrote about, by a man called Tom Lefroy. The two weren't allowed to marry because this author's family wasn't rich, and with no husband, she had to rely on her own family for money until her books became popular. Who is this fantastically great woman who changed the world? It's the one and only Jane Austen. And that's part one of the series of the fantastically wonderful women who changed the world on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, here in the Lights Out podcast, bedtime stories for boys and girls around the world. Good night.